Okay, so what is class and object? What do you think is class and object? Hmm?
Hello, sir.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Class means nothing but like example like patient or
Mm-hmm.
mm, any teacher type like that one main thing. And object will be like name of the patient, ICU born means age like that, sir.
Okay. So see, in very basic term, okay, class is a collection of function and variables. Okay, in very crude way, it is a collection of class and variable. Collection of variables and functions. Now, how do you decide what function, what variable? Okay, they are related. So when we deal with any real life object, okay, when you talk about human being, okay, so there are some properties that we exhibit. Let's say if I talk about Apple, right? Now, when you talk about Apple, there is certain meaning or there's some image that comes to your mind, right? For example, you can when I say Apple, you think of attributes, okay, or variables like color of apple, shape of apple, right? Then you can think of it as that apple is sweet to eat. We can make various dishes out of it, right? Now, if I say I'm playing cricket with apple, will you believe it? No, because we don't associate playing cricket as a property of apple. Okay, property becomes your functions, and the attributes like color, shape, that becomes your variable. So in a way, it's a collection of variables. So when you say class something, we put variables and functions in it, right? And which are associated, okay, with that class. Now, your members can be class level, can be object level. So what is the difference between class level members and object level members? So class level variables or functions are common for all the objects. Okay, something which is common for all the objects. So when you talk about patient, okay, so if patient is a class, okay, attributes of that could be, as you said, it could be name, age, okay, the date admitted, etc. Now, name, age, date admitted, these things are common for all the patient or specific to each patient?
Specific, sir, to each
Specific
patient.
to each patient, right? So that becomes object level. Okay. And how do you differentiate? We put self, right? And in fact, you can use any variable there, but we generally use self. So self, when you say self dot, indicates that it is object level and the values will be different for different objects. You create class one, but you can create multiple objects with it, right? So this is what we talk in from class and object perspective. Now, okay, there are some properties. Okay, so there are four more. We say that four important. You should be able to see my screen, isn't it? Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So there are four important features of object-oriented programming language. Okay, so object-oriented programming is a concept where we work with class and objects. Okay, so far until you had done class and objects, it was more of a procedure. We had a functions, we did something, we got the answer. But now class and objects, which is part of your object oriented programming, is a different way of doing programming, because you declare a class, and then you declare all the members as part of class, and then you start using it, right? So there are four important properties of class and objects. Okay, abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. let's first understand these features. Then from programming perspective, we'll see, how are they different? How are they common? What is difference between them? Okay. So first thing is abstraction. Okay. Now, abstraction means the information is abstracted, is hidden from us, right? So on this screen, you see a car, right? Now, if you see a car, there are a lot of things that goes into building a car. Okay, if I say that I know to drive car, doesn't mean that I know what is inside this. So when you declare a class, okay, you declare all the variables and functions, and that is it. Once you declare, you can use it multiple times, and as a user, you don't need to know what is inside the class, how it is implemented. For example, you must have worked with list, right? Now, when we say L1 equal to square bracket, okay, L1 becomes object of class list. That's why when it's a type of L1, it will give you class list. It says class list, doesn't say list, it says class list, because it becomes a class. It becomes a class. Okay, and when you are using that class, you are using the class as an object. Instant of a class is called object. So you're creating an object. So when I say L1 equal to square bracket, L1 becomes, okay, object of class list. And now when I call each member, like say if I say L1 dot append, L1 dot reverse, L1 dot copy, these are all functions, right? We call them as methods. Okay, so when you write a standalone function, like def standalone function without any class, they're called as functions. But when you put them in a class, they're called as methods. Okay, so append is a method. Okay, print is a function, append is a method. That's a subtle, very light difference between them. The functions are standalone functions and methods are part of the class. So when you say list dot append means you're calling a method. Print, input, int, these are all your functions. Now, so when you are using append method, or when you're using copy method or reverse method, do you know how they are implemented? No, we don't know. We don't need to know. We just need to know that, okay, if I use append, it's the element should be added at the end. That is enough. So if I put, if I press accelerator, vehicle will move faster. If I apply brake, vehicle will decelerate, will stop. If I turn the steering left, it will go left. Now we are not bothered, okay, and at the same time, we don't need to know, okay? We don't need to know what happens when we click on something. We don't need to know how accelerator works. We don't need to know how brake works. We don't need to know how ignition works or how engine works. Mechanic has to know, because mechanic is the one who's going to fix the car. But as a driver, as a user, we don't need to know what is happening inside. Correct? And that's when we go to advanced topics, as a user, we are like the drivers. Okay, we want to use the classes or Python programming to the maximum usage without without need of knowing what is happening inside. So implementation details is hidden from the user. User does not need to know. We don't need to know what is happening when we use copy or reverse. How it, what logic it uses to reverse, we don't need to know. We just need to know that, okay, if I say reverse, the values will be put in reverse order. That is called abstraction. Okay, so object-oriented programming, the class and object, okay, provide that abstraction. So class has the details, object doesn't show the details. Object will carry all the properties of class, but we don't need to know the details of an object. That is called abstraction. So what you have done so far is abstraction. You created a class, finish it, forget it. While using, you don't need to know what is happening in each of those methods. Okay, so this is called abstraction. Okay, so car class has multiple components and we don't need to know all the components to use the class car. Second property of class and object is encapsulation. Okay, so encapsulation is a way to restrict access to some part of a class or object. Okay, so as a user, okay, the developer, okay, can can restrict you from accessing something. Now, do you see engine? Do you see how engine works? No, we have no clue. I mean, if nobody tells you there's an engine, you will not even know there is an engine in a car, correct? Because we don't need to. So that information from engine is encapsulated, hidden. So as a developer, and when you write a class and object, you can choose what to show and what not to show. What to show and what not to show. Okay, that is called encapsulation. So you are doing hiding. You can hide some function. You can hide some variable from the user. Okay, so see, abstraction, very simple, right? You understood, right? Abstraction, we don't need to go into the details of the implementation, and what you've been doing is encapsulation. The basic property is encapsulation. You don't want user to know. Okay, so there is no problem there. But how does encapsulation works? Okay, so let me take an example. I'm going back to my notes, sorry, PyCharm here, and we'll see how encapsulation works. So let's create a class. Okay, so help me. So you said class patient, right? So class patient and total patient. Okay, total patient. Okay, let's say total equal to 0. Total patient is in class level variables. I added a class level variable. Okay, now I'm going to add a function called I'm not putting in it purposely, okay, because our focus is on in encapsulation, right? So let me write a function, okay. I will call, I will say this as what should I say? Let me call this as get information, let's say. Okay, so I'll call this as get information. Okay, so I'm going to say get info. Now get info, okay, since it's object level, we're going to add self here, and let's say we pass name, age, and let's say just name and age. Okay, now here I'll say print, okay, name is, and we'll add two variables here called name self dot name equal to name self dot age equal to age. Okay, so I'll say name is, and then I'll say here self dot name. Okay, print age is self dot age. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to create an object. How do I create an object? Tell me. P1 equal to patient. And now I'm going to call P1 dot get info, let's say. And I give name as, let's say, Sachin, and let's say age as 51, let's say. Okay. Now, when I run it, okay, I will get these answers, right? Name is Sachin, age is 51. I got this answer. Okay. Now, since we're talking about encapsulation, right? Our topic is encapsulation, right? So encapsulation, we're talking about, okay, we're talking about giving required access to the user. Okay. Now, in this case, you have something called as public access. Public access. Okay. Private access. Something which is in between public and private. Okay. I'll call this B is called protected. Okay. Protected access. Now see, in Python, protected behaves exactly like public. So there's no difference between protected and public in Python. So this behaves like public. What does this mean? See, when you declare something as public, when you declare a member, when I say member, it can be both your function or variable. So when you declare a member as public, okay, anyone can call it from anywhere. So public members can be called by anyone. When I say anyone, it's any class. Okay, can be called by any class from anywhere. Okay, private, this is visible only within the class, not outside. Okay, so it's like this. You know, when you know where let's say you have a park where you live. Okay, you have your house, you have a park there. Now in park, anybody can come, isn't it? Anyone can come to the park. That means your park is a public place. Anyone can come. But now let's say if your TV is there in your room. Now TV in your room is private. Only you and people from your family members who's staying in that house can only access. Okay, so private is only the class. Within the class it can be used, but not outside. Okay, public variables and functions can be called from outside. So when you talk about here get info, we are calling it here in the main. So get info is a public method. Okay, I can even print something like this. I can say p1 dot name. When I say print p1 dot name, so p1 dot name, Sachin is getting printed. This is also public. So public members can be called anywhere, anytime. But private members are not called. How do you declare a private member? Okay, so by default, all functions and variables are public, but private, you add double underscore before the member. So underscore member makes it private. Underscore member makes it private. Okay, so for example, let me create a member here called self dot underscore year of birth. Okay, now year of birth will be 2023 because this is 2023 minus age. Correct? So 2023 minus age is the year of birth. Now what did I say? I said underscore yob. Now when I try to print this here, when I try to print, let's say p1 dot underscore yob, you see, it's not showing. Now when I try to run it, it will give me error. Why? Patient has no attribute yob. It is not even accepting that we have a variable called yob. Okay, so if somebody from outside comes to your house and says, can I watch your TV? What you will say? No, I don't have TV. Right? So this is like class saying, no, I don't have yob. I don't even have yob. Okay, somebody from outside, when they come and ask you, can I watch your TV? You'll say, no, I don't have TV, right? Okay, even though you have it, but it is private. That's why you are saying it is not available. Now, if I make it public, okay, if I delete this underscore, I delete this underscore, Now you are saying this variable is a public variable and it is available. It gave you an answer. The moment I say private, it is not accessible outside the class. But within the class, if I say print here, you were born in the year. Okay. Now I go and I say, okay, self dot underscore underscore yob. Okay. Now when I comment it and when I call it, you see, you were born in the year 1972. Okay. So this is how you declare a private member. And you can do same thing. Okay. If I want to make this, okay, let's say I create another function here, def get yob year. Okay. Or year of birth, let's say. Okay. Underscore underscore. Now I'm going to say print you were born in the year, okay, in the year, and I'm not using the variable, I'll count myself. So I'm going to say self dot age, right? So 2023 minus self dot age. Okay. Now since I have said underscore underscore, okay, and when I try to call p1 dot, okay, underscore underscore year of birth, see, it's not showing. Okay, year of birth, it says, sorry, we don't even have that variable, right? No attribute. Similarly, if I remove it, okay, now you'll be able to get the entire thing. Okay, you were born in the year. So here I'll say method, okay, just to differentiate between this one and this one. Okay, so now if I put underscore underscore, I can call, this one can call. I can say, okay, self dot underscore underscore year of birth. Okay, so when you call this, no, see, method. So method can be, see, this method get info can call year of birth. Okay, so member of your, it's like a family member. Class is your home. Class is your home, and you have a method called underscore underscore year of birth. You have a variable called underscore underscore yob. These are your private members, and these private members are accessible to the class members. Right? So get info is a member of a class, member of this class. It can call. It's like your TV being called by your brother, sister, parents. They can call it. They can use it. But outside world, you cannot call it. See, P1, okay, I can call P1 dot name, I can call P1 dot get info, because these are public members and this is available for everyone to be called. But the private members cannot be called by outside member. Very clear? Any questions so far?
No, sir.
No, right? Okay, great. So I just said, okay, public members are available outside, you can call it, but private members are used only to do some calculation within the class. Okay, you do not want to expose it to the world. Okay, you will say double underscore. See, there's difference between double underscore, member, double underscore. When you have double underscore at both the end, that means these are inbuilt variables or functions which have predefined meaning. In it, we write underscore underscore, in it underscore underscore. Why? Because it has a predefined meaning. But here we see underscore is only one side. Underscore underscore is only on one side, left side. That means you have created a private member. Now, what is protected, right? So if I give only one underscore, okay. So when you give only one underscore, it's called protected. Okay, one underscore. Okay, so protected is only one underscore member. So protected, what it says is, okay, actual definition, but this is not how Python works. Okay, actual meaning of protection, and this is what happens in C++ or Java, is that your member can only be called by the class and its member. Okay. And the classes, subclasses. Okay. What is subclass? We'll talk about in the next topic, inheritance. We'll talk about it. Okay. But it is not accessible outside. Okay. So it's like your relatives. You can give access to your relatives. In private, you are not giving access to your relatives also. People who stays in your house only have access. People who doesn't stay in your house will not have access. Okay, that's called private. Protected is you're giving access to your family member and to your relatives who might come into your house, not to outside world. Okay, so we'll see how to create those subclasses, relative classes. We'll see, but in behavior, protected is behaves exactly like, okay, um, uh, public members here in Python. Python has not strictly enforced protected property. Though the meaning is there, though we study, though we talk about all three types, okay, but we don't, it is not really actually strictly followed. Okay, so what I mean by that is, okay, so here when I give single member, it is like protected member, right? Now what I do here in year of birth, okay, I say P1 year of birth, okay. So P1 dot, okay, you see, does it appear here? No, it doesn't appear here because by definition, not practically, by definition, protected members are not available to public. By definition, protected members are not available to public. That's why when I say year of birth, it is not available to P1. It is not available to P1. Okay. Now what I'll do is, I will still go ahead and call this. I will still go ahead and call this. Okay. Did you get any error? No. But did he give you answer? Yes. Okay. So that's what I said. Protected members by definition, it is there. That's why when we said P1 dot, we were not able to access the protected member. We were not able to access the protected member. But when I went ahead and typed, it did not give me error. Okay, it worked as expected. So that's why what we say is protected members by definition, it exists in Python. Protected members by definition, it exists in Python, but practically it's like public only, public members. Any question, guys? Did you understand? Tell me yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Sumant is still thinking or he is sleeping? I think he has gone to drink water. Right, Sumant? Oh, yeah. Mr. Sumant, wake up. Good morning. Sumant? Okay. Sure. But okay. I can't help if he's not there and he doesn't want to talk. But Srijani, did you understand? Okay. You'll be able to write a program if I tell you to, use these concepts.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Great. This is called as what property we call this as? This all falls under encapsulation. Okay. Whenever you want to hide, you can hide the data in safe. Lock it. No, I don't want to give you access. Right? Private members. Called enfab, encapsulation. So encapsulation is a method of making complex system easier to handle to end users. The user need not worry about internal details complexities. Encapsulation is a process of wrapping the data and the code that operate on data into a single entity. Can be used to hide both data members and data functions methods, right? Just by putting double underscore, it is hidden, right? Okay. Now we'll talk about the third important property, which is inheritance. Okay. Inheritance is when one class can inherit properties from another class. This is what I was talking about, relatives. Okay. They are relatives. So you have concept of base class and derived class. In inheritance, you have concept of base class and derived class. Now both are different. Both are two different classes, but they are linked. It's like they're two different families, but they are linked because they are, cousin or, brother or whatever. Okay. So here you see, if base, when you say base and derived, base means it's like a parent class and derived class is like child class. So what happens when you have a parent and child class? Child will have all the access of parent class. So when you create class 1 and class 2, and you say that class 2 is derived from class 1, and when you say class 2 is derived from class 1, it means, okay, that class 2 or derived class will have access to all the properties of base class. Whatever you add to the base class is available to derived class. And what is not available, so when I say not available, that means what is available in derived class is not available to parent class. Okay, that means you can use your parents' properties. If they have car or house, you can use, but they can't use your property. Okay, your car, parent cannot use it, but you can use your parent car. This is the meaning of inheritance. You can get all the properties of parent, okay, and you have your own property. You build your own property plus your parent. Now, public will be accessible. All the public methods and functions of base class is accessible and they own it. Private, of course, they cannot. When let's say if father doesn't want you to have the car, it will make it private. Private members, I told you, cannot be used outside the class. But if parent want only child to use, will make it protected. Protected as definition, as I said, practically it is like public only. As definition, your protected members are available. All members of base class are available for the derived class. Okay. So let's go back and see what I'm trying to say. Okay. So we have a class called patient here. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll create another class called outpatient, let's say. Class outpatient. Okay. Class outpatient and let's say I put here def OP data. I say OP data. Okay. And OP data, I'll say here, name and age we have used there, right? Let me use something else. Department, let's say. Department and let's say hospital. Okay. So here I'll say self dot department equal to department self dot hospital equal to hospital. Now I say print department, okay, is self dot department, and I'll say print hospital, okay, is self.hospital. Okay. So now these are two different classes, right? The two different classes, great. Okay. And okay, you have P1. Okay, now I'm going to say OP1 equal to outpatient, right? And here you say OP1 dot OP data departments. Let's say I put as what? General checkup or something, let's say. Okay. And hospital, let's say I put Apollo, let's say. Okay. So now I'm going to call OP1 OP. So it says department, general checkup, hospital. Okay, Apollo. Perfectly fine, right? Now these are two different classes. They have no linkage between them, and you are calling them, okay, whenever you want to call them. But now let's say we say that outpatient hospital is derived from, okay, is derived from, patient. Okay, I say outpatient class is derived from patient. Now, how do I put that? How do I put that in the system? So first thing, okay, when you talk about child classes, right? How do you know that that person is child of another person? How do you know? You look at the birth certificate, passport, Aadhaar card, right? PAN card, these or voter ID. These are the documents which will have details of the parent, right? So see, all these things will only have parents detail, not child's detail, right? Okay, in Aadhaar card, it's not mentioned, okay, your children are. You only have your parents detail in Aadhaar card, isn't it? Okay. So father doesn't need to know who are its children, but children needs to know who are its parent. You agree? So you put a bracket open and close, and here you put patient. You put patient. Okay. Now, before doing that, okay. Before I do that, when you say OP1 dot, you see OP data, department, hospital, these are the members of outpatient only. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
These are all members of patient only. Now, when I go and I say outpatient is derived from patient. Now, when you come back here and when you say OP1 dot, OP data department, you see name, age. From where are you getting name, age?
From parent.
From parent. Okay. From the user perspective, this is again encapsulation and abstraction. From
Okay.
user perspective, okay, see, all these concepts are linked. From user perspective, you will not even come to know that, the get info is not in outpatient, but it is in patient. Because what happened, I have said that outpatient, okay, is derived class of patient. All the properties of patient is now available to outpatient. And from a user perspective, because when you use it, you will not be able to see all this, right? You'll only use this when you are using list classes or dictionary classes. You don't see the definition, right? It is already written hidden. As a user, you don't know whether OP get info is in outpatient or is in patient. Okay, abstraction, hidden. You don't need to know. Okay, encapsulation. Why? Because get info is made public. That's why you have access. It is public or protected. That's why you have access. If it was private, it will not be shown here. So here you see all three concepts are integrated. Okay, so this is called as inheritance. And now when I say get info, and I will give the name, of course, so let's say I give name as Virat, and then you have age, I'll say 35. Right? Now you write, you see, Name Virat, age 35. You were born in the year 1988. This is the power of your inheritance. You don't, okay, it is not visible. It is not, okay, I mean, not visible. Sorry, that's not wrong. That's wrong word. It is not available in the class, but still we are able to see it. Still it's visible because we have derived class. And from user perspective, from your perspective, you will not even know whether this get info is written in outpatient or inpatient. It behaves as if it is written in outpatient only. Yes or no? This is inheritance. But when I do P1 dot, right, P1 will not have access. So when I say P1 dot, okay, P1 will have only access to its own member, name, age, total, get info, that's all. It does not have access to, OP data. Parent will not have access, but child will have access. This is called inheritance. When do we use it? Oh, multiple places. In this example itself, let's say you have patient, and patient can be inpatient and outpatient. How are inpatient, outpatient different? Outpatient doesn't get admitted in hospital, isn't it? So, okay, so like name, age, gender, date of birth, um, your details like your weight, height, uh, sugar level, WBC count, RBC count, etc. Let's say all these are common. Whether you have inpatient or outpatient, you need to get this thing done. These are all common. Okay, there are 12 items which are common. There are 5 tests, okay, or methods which are common between inpatient and outpatient. And there are 3 methods which are unique to outpatient, and there are 10 methods which are unique to inpatient. So you have 5 which is common to both. You have 3 and 10 which are unique to outpatient and inpatient. Now, one way is you create 2 different classes, inpatient class and outpatient class, let them be different. You add 5 plus 3 because 5 is common, right? So 5 plus 3 in outpatient, 5 plus 10, 15 in inpatient. But you're duplicating the effort, isn't it? Those 5 tests are common to both. Then why do you duplicate it? Why do you write it again? See, what is the problem with duplication of code? Maintenance is very difficult. Okay, while writing, you can say, so what, I'll copy and paste the code. Perfect. Okay, while writing, you copied and pasted. Okay, it's fine. Okay, you wrote for one, you created outpatient, and you copied and pasted. Okay, which is fine. It saved your time. Okay, but the problem comes when if you have to make a changes later. Okay, no code will remain like that, right? You'll have to come back and keep changing your code for years. Some of the softwares which are written are used for 30-40 years, the source code. You don't change those source code, right? You keep building on top of it, keep adding. So if you have to make any changes, okay, you have to make changes at 2 places, and chances are that you can make a mistake there you cannot copy and paste. Okay, so maintenance of code is difficult and the effort is double. Okay, so you'll put it at only one place so that you make changes there, both will automatically have it. So in that case, what we do, we'll create a class called patient. We will add only these 5 which is common to the patient, and we'll create outpatient derived from patient. We'll create inpatient also derived from patient. So you have 1 parent and 2 child, 2 derived classes. Okay, so you have 2 derived classes, and these 2 derived classes are derived from parent class, which is patient. So the moment you say derived, all those 5 functions are now available to both outpatient and inpatient. With me? Yes? Sumant is still not awake. Okay. So this is the application of your inheritance. Did you understand?
Yes.
Okay. I need to know. Okay. Okay. So this is the importance of inheritance. And inheritance, what we just did is called simple inheritance. Okay. You have 2 class. Okay. Let me go back to my notes again. So you have inheritance, you have one base class and one derived class, right? So we had one patient class and we had one outpatient class. This is called simple inheritance. Okay. Then you can have multiple. So this is simple. Then you can have multi-level. Multi-level means you say class vehicle. Second, you say class car. In bracket, you put vehicles. Then you put class Tata Motors, and bracket you put cars. So see, again, we don't have grandfather details in our card, right? On our Aadhaar card or passport, you only have parents detail. You don't have grandparents detail, right? So when you say vehicle, nothing in bracket, no bracket, it is the main class. When you say cars, bracket vehicles, cars become derived class of vehicles. And when you say Tata Motors, bracket cars, that means Tata Motors is derived from cars. So automatically Tata Motors will also is also derived from vehicles. So your grandchildren, okay, Tata Motors will have all the properties of cars and also all the properties of vehicles. Did you understand? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So Tata Motors will have all the properties of cars as well as all the properties of vehicles. Cars will have only the properties of vehicles, and vehicles will have its own property only. Okay, it cannot inherit any other properties. Okay, same concept, just that you are extending it to another level. Okay, so if I go back to my program again, okay, so we'll create one more class. I don't know what should we name it. Let's say we name it as foreign patient. Okay, let's say you got a patient from foreign country. Okay, foreign. Okay, now here I'm saying this belongs to outpatient. Okay, and here I'm going to put some dummy, okay, method here called foreign patient data. So we'll say print patient is from Dubai, let's say. Okay, now when you come here, okay, now we'll create foreign patient 1 equal to foreign patient, right? Now fp1 dot, you see, it has name, it has age, department, hospital, get info, get OP data. See, FP data. FP data is its own property. So it has its own property, plus, which is OP data is parents property, plus get info is parents property. Okay, parents property. So you have access to all the properties of your parent and their parent if they have, 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 right? So this is the usage of inheritance. So, so you can have relation, it can have hierarchical relationship. Okay, that means motorcycle also has parent vehicle, cars also has parent vehicle. TVS Motors is parent motorcycle, Tata Motors parent is cars. That means Tata Motors will have access to cars properties as well as vehicles property. TVS Motors will have access to motorcycle properties as well as vehicles property. But TVS Motor will not have access to cars properties. Tata Motors will not have access to motorcycle properties. But both of them will have access to vehicles properties. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So these are your,
Yes,
what you call as, yeah, Sumant, good morning.
sir.
Yes. Okay. So this is how inheritance is used in object-oriented programming. So when you talk about object-oriented programming, is powered by, is implemented by using class and objects. Okay, and it has 4 important properties, which out of which we have already seen 3. Which are the 3 properties we have seen? Quick. Abstraction, which talks about hiding the implementation detail. Encapsulation, where you can hide the members, you can control which data has, is available to whom. Then we spoke about inheritance, where one class can inherit all the properties of another class. And last one is called polymorphism. What is poly? Poly means many, and morphism means form, many forms. Okay. So you see that when I say 3 plus 5, what do you get?
8.
And when I say hello plus world, what do you get?
Hello.
If I say list 1 plus list 2, what do you get?
Please.
Concatenated list. Okay, one list with both the members, right? Both the list members.
Yes, sir.
Same plus, okay, is used in 3 different forms. See, plus 3 plus, when I say 3 plus 5, if plus in mathematics, plus has only one meaning. In our real language, plus has only one meaning. But programming world, you see, we've got 3 and you have many more forms of plus. When you add 2 texts, it's in concatenating the text. Okay, if going by that same logic, 3 plus 5 should have been 35, not 8. But what happens is, you have different functions written in Python. You have different functions written in Python, depending upon when you use, okay, so see, there are 3 different implementation of plus. Depending upon when you use, how you use, okay, one of those is called. From a user perspective, we don't know. Again, see, again, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance concept here. As a user, you don't know which function, which plus. Okay, what we think, oh, plus can do all this work. It's like this. Okay, we 3 form a team. Let's say I'm strong in Python. Let's say, Sumant is strong in Power BI. And let's say Srijan is expert in database. So we 3 form a team. When somebody comes to us and says, okay, I need this project to be done in Python. So what do? I will do the project, come back. They come back again saying that I need the project to be done in Power BI. What happens? Sumant will go do the project, come back. Customer will again come back saying, I need this project in database. Sujani will go and she'll do the project and she'll come back. So for the customer, what customer feels, oh, this company can do anything. But what is actually happening? We have 3 different forms. We behave like one. Did you understand? So similarly, you have 3 different methods. You have 3 different code in the backend. But the user should not know, right? User need not know what is happening in the backend. Depending upon the problem statement, one of us will go do the work and come back. Client thinks, oh, this guy can do all 3 projects. But actually, we have 3 different people working as one. That is an example of polymorphism. Okay, so polymorphism, again, there's a lot of difference between polymorphism in Python and C++. You guys, do you know C++ and Java? Have you worked on those?
No, sir.
No? Okay,
No.
great. You have not worked on those. Great, because people who actually work, they'll have a lot more confusion. Okay, see, understand that all of these are different programming language. They are different purpose of doing it, right? And they are different. Okay, so if you have not done, it is good. Okay, it is good because there is lot of difference from polymorphism perspective between C++, Java versus your Python. Okay, if you do not know, it's good. Okay, so you will not get confusion while working with Python. So what Python says is, okay, Python says, okay, that polymorphism generally happens from multiple classes. Okay, but in C++, Java, polymorphism can happen in single class also. You can have 2 different methods in single class. Okay, I'll show you an example what I'm trying to say. So here, okay, let me go back to our program for a second. There are some class pieces here. Okay, so let's go back to my program. Okay, so see here. Now, foreign patient has a FP data. Okay, now first I'll show you what kind of polymorphism this will have, what C++ and Python, sorry, Java can have. Okay, what C++ and Java says is that you can have multiple function name in the same class. So I can say FP data, FP data, FP data. Okay, same name. How do we differentiate? It says if you have one variable, it is okay. Now this is different. Okay. Now here I can have two variables, A comma B. Okay. So in Java and C++, these three are treated three different functions. And how do you differentiate between them? We differentiate between them by looking at what are the parameters that it takes. In this case, okay, if you are calling a FP data, I'm talking about C++ Java, okay, I'm not on Python yet. If I call, what is that? FP data, right? So if I call fp1 dot fp data, okay, and I do not pass any variable, that means I'm calling first function. If I call two variables, 3, 5, that means I'm calling second function. And if I pass only one variable, I'm calling second function. This is what happens in C++ Java. But Python says no. Okay. In one class, you should have only one function with this name. So if I did in this case, okay, when I run, what happens is this will always, Python will always, if you have 3 functions or 10 functions with same name, Python will always look at the last one. Python will ignore all the first two. So when I try to run this program in Python, this will throw error, this will throw error, only this will work. Because Python will ignore all the, it's like when you do same thing 10 times, your 10th attempt is counted, not the first 9 attempt. This is how Python works. Java, all 3 would be valid. Okay, a first one will call the first FP data, second one will call the third FP data, third one will call the second FP data. In C++ and Java, again, I'm repeating it, in C++ and Java, all these are valid ways, but not in Python. Okay, in Python, okay, first one will throw error. Okay, execute code 1. Okay, expected 2 required position argument, you gave only 1. Where is that? Okay, saying name and age. Okay, hold on. Okay, here, okay, sorry, this is throwing error. So let's give some name here. So here I'm going to say Warner, and let's say I put 39. Okay. Okay, so you see it says exit code 1. Here it says FP data missing 2 required position argument A and B. Because even though we have FP data without taking any argument right here, okay, in C++ and Java, this would have been called, but not in Python. Python, the last function that is declared is called. That's why it says 2 missing arguments. So this would work. Okay, so I'm going to put it here. This would work in Java and C++, but not in Python. Same thing will happen to this last one. Okay, this would work in Java and C++, okay, but not in Python. This will work in Python. Okay, so this is not polymorphism, right? This is normal thing. Polymorphism means you can have a FP data in parent also. So it's like you have your own car and you have your parent's car. Then what happens? Then you will use your own car, not parent's car. Okay, see, so far what we have been seeing, you can inherit parents' properties. But when, let's say, FP has this one, okay, and this is also in, let's say, here in outpatient also we have function with same name. Now, in this case, okay, I'm going to say here, I'll mention outpatient colon, okay, so that you know that which function getting called. Outpatient, and here you put where? Here we'll put foreign patient, okay? So since we are calling object of FP foreign patient, this will call foreign patient. In case you do not have this, let's say I put, I'll put some, I'll comment it out for now. Okay, for a second, I'll comment FP data. We need to have something, right? Okay, let me call this as FP data 2. And here too, I'll call FP data 2. Okay, and now I'll call FP data. Now, when I call FP data 2, which is there in both parent as well as here, okay, it will call FP data of its own. Okay, you'll call your own. But now if I change it to FP3, let's say, now there is only one FP data 2, which is parents. So it will call parents only. So, okay, you can have functions of multiple, same name into multiple classes, and by using the class name, you can decide which, okay, function to call. That is what we call as polymorphism. Multiple forms of same member. Okay, member means it can be both variable as well as function. Yes? Clear?
Yes.
These are the 4 important properties of class and object. Okay, let's go back to the notes again. Okay, see here, you have vehicles also has measure mileage and cars also has measure mileage. Okay, so depending upon whom you call, what you call, okay, this function will be called. If you are calling from cars, car mileage will come. Call from vehicles, vehicles will be called. Okay, if you're calling from okay, calling with integer on both the side, integer plus will be called. If you're calling list on both the side, list plus will be called. That's how implementation is different. Implementations are different. You're calling them using based on the input value. Okay, this is called polymorphism. Multiple forms of same method or attributes. Okay, and then of course you have examples in the book. Okay, so please practice examples on the book, and if you have any questions, you can ask me or you can ask Durga sir. Okay, we'll help you. All right,
Sir, which book, sir?
you've been given a link, right? Online link, Python?
No, sir.
No,
No.
I only shared the link in the group long time back when your class
Yes,
started.
I have started last week only, so I have joined the.
Oh, last week only you have joined. Okay, okay, okay. So I'll share that link with you. Okay, again in
Okay,
the
sir.
group. You're part of the group, right? Same group, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes. I'll share it.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so you can practice more examples. Any questions? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up for today. Okay, so you get only a shorter session. And yeah, and the next week Durga sir will be there to take regular sessions. I will come back
Theoretic-
again for database. Database I will take. Okay, entire
Okay.
database.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Theoretically understood, sir. Once we should practice. it.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so we'll end it here
Mm.
and we'll catch up in
Sir,
future
can you
sometime.
share that link in the group, sir?
Yes, yes, I'll share that link in the group after the class is done.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Take care. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Okay,
sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye.